I know. Actually, Bobby, can you turn your Wi-Fi off? See, I turned it off because mine was. It's really bad right now, so I was trying to help her. Can you turn your Wi-Fi off? Okay. And then, if you
Hi, you guys.
will you tell them what's happening?
Hi, everyone. We are going live. Elena is doing a podcast with Style Your Life. This is April. Say hi, April.
Hi.
Style Your Life is who she's doing a podcast with.
What is like the biggest thing we want to do? Huge goal. Who's like, if we want is going. And then what we want to have on the podcast? Who would it be? Elena Cardone. Like number one. Yes. So
Number one. I love it.
This is who she's interviewing
like
with.
when we had the opportunity to see you on the Zoom or whatever, and you said you would be on, we were like, holy crap. Like, pretty fast manifestation for our 10x goal. So now we gotta 10x it again.
Oh, that rocks. Thank you. That just made my day.
Yay. So we just wanted to tell you.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Do you have any questions or anything before we start?
No, it's a 30-minute podcast, right?
Yeah.
I gotta know how long I gotta keep my kid on a leash in the other room.
Oh, we know how that goes. Yeah. All right, so let's be mindful of that, of course. Yeah. All right, cool. We'll just pause for a second. I'll read your intro and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Today on the show, we welcome a woman who is her inspiration. She hosts the Women Empowered podcast. She's also a best-selling author, public speaker, businesswoman, visionary, and empire builder. According to her, you're either building an empire or destroying one. We're thrilled to have all-around bombshell Elena Cardone with us today to teach us how to build an empire.
That was amazing. Thank you for that introduction.
You're welcome. We're excited to have you on today. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
So on the Style Your Life podcast, we have a passion to inspire positive change in people's lives, and we want our audience to embrace change, not fear it. Elena, you are an inspiring example of a woman who does just that. What is your perspective on embracing change and overcoming the challenges that come along with it?
My perspective on change is that is what I have been able to do that's gotten me this far in life, is the moment I embrace that that if I can get okay with change, where I don't have my mind so fixed and stuck on set ideas, when I have my attention so fixed on the way something is supposed to be, that's when I get in trouble. My life is so random and so many parts and pieces come at me from so many different directions on a normal day, not including during a pandemic, that because I'm able to be what I call mercurial, which is the mercury in a thermometer. If you try to grab it, you can't grab it. So one of my greatest strengths is that I am mercurial. I'm able to adjust, adapt. I can move through things very well. And so change is something that I've just been accustomed to, especially in the last 16 years, being married to Grant Cardone and so much coming at me. I have to be willing to change. And so in my life, I'm always trying to do things that challenge myself to live up to and be strong enough to be able to change with whatever is occurring, and also arm myself with enough options to not always react to a situation with the same weapon. Meaning, if someone approaches me with something negative, I won't just instinctively react with anger back. Sometimes I do, I'm human. But I have trained myself, and I have done enough self-work on myself to where I will analyze a situation and go, okay, so that happened. What could I have done differently? I could have laughed. I could have acknowledged them and just said, you're right. You know, sometimes that's all people need. Even if it's a different agreement that even if I don't agree with the philosophy, sometimes you can just say to someone, you're right. because they're right in what they think. You're right, you know.
Yeah.
So and I try to get, or I could ignore it, or I could bash them, or whatever. And I come up with all these different ways to arm myself with being able to analytically respond to different situations and different times. So a time like now, you know, I've armed myself with enough reactions that I can pick and choose analytically what is the best thing that's going to get me through right now.
That's very smart.
Right.
Self-reflection. We talk about self-reflection all the time and how it's good to analyze your choices so you can make better choices next time. So that's great advice for everyone. And you talk about change in some of these choices in your book, Building an Empire. You share your personal story of transformation, and readers learn about your setbacks, challenges, hardships, everything you faced. But we also learn in your book of how you overcame these circumstances to grow. So tell us about some of your most pivotal moments and some ways or negations into positive growth.
One of the situations that actually impacted me most was the last economic collapse in 2008, where I really had to change and undergo a different operating basis for the way that I normally handle stuff. So in 2008, the world as we kind of knew it, my husband and I, collapsed, and it wasn't going to be the same. His business was not the same. We had an opportunity to reflect on where we were weak, what we did wrong, and we have spent literally since 2008 to current times preparing for this type of situation to come again and to be prepared for it. And even though we are much better equipped and prepared for it this time, it still affects you, and everyone's going to have an impact from this. But I can just tell you what we did then and what we learned then are the same conditions that we're applying right now. Like nothing has changed. Like the very first thing that we do is acceptance. Like we are in full acceptance of what is occurring right now, and not to be fear-based, because I don't believe in panic. I believe in being prepared, and I love the positivity nature of your show. But in part of what I do is I'm able to have a vision. Like, what is the vision of where you're going, or what a situation could look like if it was the worst case scenario. Now, Grant and I have done worst case scenario. That's how we have to be prepared. So Grant calls it taking yourself to zero. And that means take yourself to zero. Imagine right now that you had nothing. What would you do? How would you use your imagination and wisdom to plan for the future? And that's what a visionary is. A visionary is a person that uses imagination and wisdom to foresee, predict, and plan and create the future. So that's what he says. Number one, acceptance. Number two, take yourself to zero. Number three, what we're doing is economizing. All spending that isn't towards something that is going to generate money, meaning if it's not self-enhancement, if it's not going to provide income, it does not get spent. There's no frivolous waste right now. There's no, everything has stopped for us. There's no clothing shopping. There's no jewelry shopping. Not that I did that stuff anyway. Obviously, I'm not into that. But no frivolous, like nothing. It all stops. So economize is number three. And number four is really using that opportunity now to figure out how to use your imagination to expand and be prepared for the future, and how you're going to come out of this. Like we're all going to come out of this. The question is how strong, how unstoppable will you be when the doors open again? So as a visionary, I have gone into the future and I say, what is it that I want to look like? What is it that I want our companies to look like? What is it that I want our community and our people to look like? And of course it looks a certain way. Now I come back into present time right now, after I've gone through all my visions of played out every single scenario. Even if I don't have the solution to every single scenario, I can at least say, what do I want to look like on the other side of this? Do I want to be more courageous? Yes. Do I want to be more disciplined? Yes. Do I want to be a calm, stabilizing force for others during this period? Yes. Do I want to be healthier? Yes. So you go down the entire list of what you want to look like in the future, and you come back to the present time and you write yourself a plan, an actual plan. How do I get there? You have a vision, and you come back into present time with your plan for that vision, and you keep so focused on that vision that you don't care and you don't pay attention to all the horribleness that's going around. You acknowledge it, you've accepted it, you're preparing for it, but no matter who's telling you what, you hold steadfast your vision. Nothing can come in between you and your vision. And you write your plan in your to-do list. What do I have to do to build my immune system, to get my exercise while indoors, to fortify with my family and not lose the fun and not put these problems on a child's line, a child's plate. What do I have to do to build my courage? I have to use discipline. I have to give yourself the list. This is just what I do. I'm using discipline. That's what I did then. That's what I'm doing now. It's different times. We're in emergency, a literal state of emergency. So normal habits and routines have to be bypassed. So I wake up every day at 5:30. I gave myself a target. You write on your book. You write your book. You drink your gallon of water a day. You take your vitamins. You self-enhance. Whatever you need to do to make who you want to be in the future, that's what you do now. You don't use this time if you want to be stronger on the other side. You don't use this time for the loaf time, the feel sorry, the cry, the feel all your feelings. Look, we're at war right now. When you're at war, there's casualties, and you got to fight the enemy, and you got to win. In order to do that, there's no time for cries. You do that later. You don't care about your feelings right now. You're fighting an enemy. So, you gut up and do whatever it takes. So there's I'm not drinking alcohol. I don't drink anyway. But you're not going to see me drinking a drop of wine or what everyone's doing to pass the time with a hard liquor. Or you're not going to be watching me binge watch. I did it one time with Tiger King.
I was gonna say, but you made an exception for Tiger King.
I made an exception for Tiger King. It took me 1.5 days to get through it. I have not, look, the TV's not on unless it's like a presidential briefing that I think is gonna tell me how long we're in this or what I need to know. That's all I'm doing right now. Like, I'm strict and disciplined on myself right now because I know that on the other side of this, my vision is I'm going to make everything I look like in the past, I'm going to make that look like child's play. So who do I have to be to make myself strong enough to pull me out of this and to keep my vision that all of this is going to look so small compared to where I'm going and what I plan to do.
We definitely that. We recorded yesterday with Commissioner Bernard Carrick, who was the New York City Police Commissioner during 9/11. And we talked to him about what successful leadership looks like and what success looks like. And he said preparedness. He said it's kind of eerie, a lot of what you just said. It's a very aligned. And he was talking about getting the city ready and being prepared ahead of time. They didn't know what exactly was going to happen, but they knew they were going to be ready no matter what form it took on. And I feel like that's kind of what you were just saying. A successful leader or someone who's going to come out on top is going to be prepared and is not going to waste the downtime when you think nothing's really happening. That's the time to use. We've been given extra time. Since when do we have time where we have to slow down? It doesn't make sense to not use it to build your empire.
However, yes, I agree with you, but I really don't want anyone to misunderstand. Like, my discipline is also in with my rest. Like, I've been going to bed at between 9:30 and 10 every night. Like, I'm resting. I'm taking care of myself more than ever right now. So,
That's good.
So, you have a book, Building an Empire, that we recommend all the time.
I love that. Thank you.
But are you reading anything, or is there a book that you would recommend that our readers look into and kind of tell us why you would recommend that?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, I am not reading any books right now. I am writing another book. So all my spare time is going into that. I want to have it done. Like, my goal is to have it completed by the end of this month. It won't be in a book version per se, but hopefully I can release it online or maybe even do the Audible or whatever. So I'm constantly working on that nonstop. But the book I would recommend, especially for a time like this, I mean, of course, I'm Grant's biggest fan, so I'm gonna definitely recommend the 10X Rule.
Right.
If You're Not First, You're Last is an incredible book. I love the Closer Survival Guide. Like everything. I love Cardone University. I know that's not a book. Be Obsessed or Be Average. I mean, he's got incredible books. Of course, I recommend mine, Build an Empire. There's also another book called The Problems of Work. It's by L. Ron Hubbard. I love that book because until I read that book, I didn't really understand what work was, what that means, what are the technical applications that you can do to make sure that you have income and a job for the future. Like there are certain specific things you need to know that help you with that. So that book to me can't be more perfect for right now.
Great. We'll link those in the show notes so that we can anybody read them. So let's talk about the collective issues that we're all going through right now with coronavirus and the enormous challenges that we're seeing in entrepreneurs especially might be going through. You always give advice to women on how we can be better business women, better moms, better wives, and just better all around. So during this time, what specific advice would you have for women entrepreneurs? How can we balance everything? Our kids are home with us. Like everything is kind of like meshed all in one. There's no separation. It's all together in our house and we're not leaving. So how do we take advantage of this time and become better female entrepreneurs?
You know, it's a very difficult time for us right now, especially with the kids being in the house, because we want to work and be uninterrupted, but they keep coming in. So, you know, my advice for them right now is like, you know, just be okay with having to have more interruptions than usual. It goes back to that change thing I was talking about. But for women entrepreneurs right now, look at what you think you can foresee coming out of this. How can you use whatever you have to set yourself up for when this opens? Like, how can you stay in contact with your previous customers? Do you actually need to look at a new line of business right now? Like, where is the opportunity with what you do? And figure out, if you can't figure that out, at the very least, you should be connecting with other people online and meeting other people, jumping into their lives, going live with them, requesting, you know, just trying to find a network and figuring out a way that you can get exposure right now while everyone's on this, you know, while everyone's on the internet.
Right.
Yeah, there's big opportunities with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're hearing a lot of I-10Xing. So tell us what a 10X life is like for you, and is it possible to 10X right now when we're dealing with this pandemic?
It's definitely possible to 10X right now. 10X is a multiplier. It's whatever you think it would take to do something and to accomplish, then you multiply it by 10. It's a multiplier. So yes, you can take massive action right now. Just whatever you think it is, make that list, and how can you double it? If you used to make 4 sales phone calls a day, how can you make 40? How can you make 400? Is it possible? Do you need to, like, you know, pay your kid $10 an hour and respond to comments for you on Instagram? I don't know. Like, it's your job to come up with the imagination of that. But yes, it is definitely possible to 10X. It will require a little bit of imagination and wisdom. It will require that you become a visionary, that you take an active role at this and figure out how to be at cause over your life and figure out what you can do to be creative, to facilitate income for your family. What does a 10X life look like for me? I wake up, you know, on a normal day, not pandemic. On a normal day, I wake up, I'm with a trainer for 1.5 hours a day. I'm still doing what I'm doing now. I'm working on myself. I'm at the office all day. You know, I'm trying to always self-enhance. I've been preparing for this moment for a long time. I've been building up reserves in health. I've been building up reserves in strength. I've been building up reserves in protecting my empire, and every single facet of what that looks like, I've trained with shotgun, rifle, pistol, martial arts. Why? I don't know. Because I'm preparing. I don't know.
When the zombie apocalypse happens.
Yeah, the zombie apocalypse happens. Hey, you know what? I'm trained. If they show up, I'm willing to take responsibility and protect the people that I love and my office and my office staff. I'm willing to, even, in a normal situation, a mall situation, no pandemic. If I'm in a mall situation, I owe it to the public, not that anyone would ever want to take another life. But I'm willing, because I am trained, to do that so that the good people of the world can return home to their families and see their children and kiss them goodnight, because I don't believe it's right that some coward has the right to go shoot somebody in a mall and kill multiple lives. So, that's my level of responsibility. Is somebody else willing to do that for me?
Hopefully.
I'm not saying I would even have a chance. Maybe I don't have a chance. Maybe, but I have a chance to take somebody out.
Yeah, or have more of a chance than if you weren't prepared. Right?
That's right, or untrained. So,
right.
So that's what a 10X life looks like. How much responsibility are you willing to take, not only for yourself, but for your family, for your community, and for the world? That's a real 10X life. How do you fortify and help each other reach heightened success? How do you make a difference for the better in this world? And you will need to 10X to achieve that mission.
Yeah, and part of your 10X that I see is your confidence. Your confidence level is something that, you don't see in a lot of people, especially women. We tend to be very reserved. We think we can't speak up. It's hard to have that confidence. So can you talk to us a little bit about where your confidence comes from and how women who are listening can build that confidence?
Confidence comes by doing what you say you're going to do consistently over a long period of time. When you are able to trust that when you say you're going to do something, and in your own integrity, your own heart, your own being to the core, that you will get it done. That is what confidence is. And sometimes it might need to start out on a very small gradient. If you need to build confidence by saying, I'm going to drink a half a gallon of water a day, but you do that every single day over 30 days, you're going to feel confident that when you say you're going to drink your water, you're going to drink your water. You do it with little things over time. You know what? I am going to practice smiling. I don't know. I don't care. I take the smallest little things and I find ways to turn them into wins so that I can trust myself. Because I didn't always trust myself. I was not always the person that I am now. There was a time when I couldn't depend on myself, much less have anybody else depend on me. But over time, I have cleaned myself up. I have used discipline. So now when I say I'm going to do something, I know, and the universe knows, you know what? Maybe I don't want to pick on this chick because she's difficult. If she says she's going to make everything look like child's play on the other side, you know what? I'm going to go pick on Sally, because when Sally says, oh, I'm going to work out every day, or oh, I'm going to be a millionaire, but Sally doesn't believe it because Sally knows she doesn't have discipline, and so the universe goes and picks on her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because she's an easy target. It doesn't pick on me. Don't get me wrong, it picks on me. But that's where confidence comes from. It comes from not needing anyone else's opinion. Confidence comes from being able to depend on yourself, and that comes from doing what you say you're going to do. And you can break it down into very small little categories that you can do and you can achieve, and then you can expand as you get that muscle developed in you.
Yeah, I love that. Action.
Yeah, action, taking responsibility. That's great. Love it. So what's next for you, Elena? You mentioned that you're writing a book. We've been joining your Wednesday
Zoom
night
calls.
calls.
Yay!
I don't know if you want to talk about that so other women can join.
Yeah, I'm doing my free Zoom calls. If you go to 10xladies.com/network every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's just an opportunity for women across the globe to meet in this little forum for an hour and hear about what I'm up to. I want to hear about what you're up to. I answer questions in the chat, and then we all leave there taking responsibility for who we are as powerful women. What is power? It's my favorite definition right now. Power is the capacity or the ability to influence the behavior of others. So all the women that are interested in power, being able to influence the behavior of others. Maybe you influence somebody to take action for the better. Maybe it's just you made somebody laugh or smile. So we all leave feeling a little bit more responsible for the power that we possess, and we go out into the world after those meetings and create a little bit more calm, a little bit more certainty, and we leave with a little more power. So if you want to join that, that's free every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And
I'm
Anna and
also
I joined. We love joining it, and I will say it's a place where you can really feel community with other like-minded women. So if you're, sitting at home alone and you don't feel a lot of community, and you're a person that thrives on that, join this call because you're going to feel it, and it's very interactive. Like you said, when talking, everybody has an inspiring message, something they're thinking about. So I definitely recommend that women jump on there. It's worth it.
Oh, awesome.
So tell us. Go ahead.
No, I said awesome. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your podcast, Women in Power.
Women in Power is a show that I originally just started off trying to explore what does that mean to be a woman in power? Does it mean that there's some executive at the top? Is it a mom? Who is it? What defines a woman in power? So I've been on this search. I interview women all across the globe to see if there's a common neutral thread that we all have. And so I've interviewed some fantastic, phenomenal women around the world, and I've come to the same conclusion, which is that the women that are in power, it has really nothing to do with how much you have in your bank account or what your quote unquote title is. It's a woman in power who is dedicated to making a difference for the better and empowering other women, and they have that same through line from everywhere around the globe, that's the intention of Women in Power.
I love it. And I assume that we can go listen to that on any podcast platform.
Yes, on any podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, probably know them better than I do. But
search anywhere, you'll find it.
And the thing that I love about these women that I interview is they all share their tips of the trade or whatever it is that I'm interviewing them about to fast track other women, and it's for women, but men of course too watch the show, and I love that too. I'm not like excluding men from anything, but yeah, they all give out their little tips for success, and it's very inspirational, and every single show has takeaways, applicable takeaways that you can apply to your life.
That's a great segue for what we're going to talk about right now.
Oh,
perfect.
Yeah.
So we like to end every episode with a segment that we call Instant Impact. So we like to give our listeners small, actionable tips that they can take away and start enacting right now in their lives after listening to the episode. So we wanted to ask you, what would be something that you would recommend to our listeners that they could do right now?
For instant impact.
For instant impact, look at ways that you can become better on the other side. I'm sticking with that theme. How can you become a visionary? How can you have a vision? Sit down, write out who you want to be, backtrack, write your plan of what you need to do today in order to become the person you want to be tomorrow, and put yourself on a strict, if you want to call it, or just use discipline, not feelings, use discipline. It doesn't matter how you want to feel or how unmotivated you're going to get. These times are going to be trying. You have to use discipline, but use discipline to get that done for yourself, so that on the other side of this, you can have your own sense of confidence, integrity, and accomplishment, and a sense of cause, that you're not being an effect of what this pandemic is making us do, making us stay in, making us feel like we don't have power or control or whatever. So what can you do? And practice those little things. Use your power, your ability to influence the behavior of others. Start by making your child smile today.
That's a good one. I'm going to do that. Elena, we are honored that you came on the show with us today. Thank you for taking the time out. And we look forward to your upcoming book, listening to your podcast, and joining your Zoom calls.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on. Bye.
That was fun, Elena.
That was really fun. That was Aaron and Michelle, and they have a show called Style Your Life Podcast, and I just was interviewed by them. So I hope you enjoyed that.
I love that they joined your network on Wednesdays.
I do too. I love that. That's what support looks like.
Right.
That's what support looks like. That's supporting somebody else in their endeavors, and I appreciate that. I appreciate all the people that support me right now, and that 10X Ladies Network call is a very small contribution of how I can give back, and just say thank you for everyone that believes in me and everyone who supports me. I really appreciate you.
Are you going to give us a little teaser later on today from your book?
I sure can.
Can you tell those that don't know the Traveling Circus about the book, what it's about?
Well, I'm writing a book. It's for men. It's a manual, and it's for 10X men who are interested in a 10X relationship and who are interested in a 10X lady. This is probably not the book for somebody who's interested in normal relationships, because this is not normal relationships. This book is going to be for a man that wants to be with a 10X lady because he loves her, because he trusts her, and because the two of them together have as their couple's goal to reach heightened success together. And that is the sole mission of the 10X relationship. It's how do you reach heightened levels of success where you couldn't get to by yourself. The highest of the high that you can bring yourself. And if somebody, because there's strength in numbers, and what's a group? 2 or more. If someone else can help you or give you the ideas or the challenges or whatever it is that they do to help you get yourself to the next heightened level of success, that's what I'm interested in, and that's what the book is geared to, the secrets and the insides of all of that. So they're going to understand the dynamic of a real relationship, of real 10X women, not this BS stuff out there these days of normal life. This isn't normal life. So who knows how much, who knows how big or how popular this book might be. I might only sell 2 copies.
Telling you.
But if I change and I help improve the lives of 2 awesome 10X men out there, okay, it was all worth the and the sitting down writing.
I love what you just said. There's strength in
Numbers.
A group is 2 or more.
That's right.
So it's contrary to our belief or our experiences. It's not the ball and chain experience where, oh my God, I don't have time for a relationship because I'm propelling forward in business. Or
yeah, well, that's that. I address that in the book. Yeah, because a lot of people try to hit a certain point before they want to get in a relationship, and I'm like, but that's your old way of thinking. That's old relationships. No, the relationship I am talking about is somebody who is going to fast track your way to success. So what might take you 5 years to do on your own, when you're with a 10X lady, I'm turning around writing my book to the 10X ladies after this one. When you're with a 10X lady, it's not going to take you 5 years. It's going to take you 2. So what are you doing waiting? You're thinking old mentality. You're thinking with all your old thoughts about the way things are. No, you're creating new ideas. You're creating new ways, of perceiving who that woman is,
so exciting to change our mindset. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're changing our mindset, our old
Well,
ways
you
of
have,
thinking.
they're gonna have to give up their old ideas, like whatever they think about relationships. If the guy or the girl thinks a relationship is a ball and chain, and I am totally guilty of that in the past, then guess what? Every single relationship that you have ever been in will have proved out to be a ball and chain. Why? Because you make yourself right. You cast these characters in the play called your life. They're only fulfilling what you think about them. So if you think somebody's a ball and chain, guess what? They're a ball and chain. And you'll say, see, look at this, look at this, look at this. Well, of course, duh. But no, if you're open to the possibility, just open to the possibility of a new way of thinking, which is a woman can actually help me reach heightened levels of success, then maybe you attract that instead.
Oh, can't wait for the little that you're gonna give us tonight.
The little teaser?
The little teaser.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching the live, and I'll see you again some other time.
Dude, they got so excited about your book.
They
Like
did.
insane. Like, oh my God, good topics, good subject.